Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ebony Jackson, and thank you for coming. I would like to take, it is now 3:30, and I am calling this meeting of the Killeen Housing Authority Board to order. I'd like the record reflect that we have everyone present. The commissioners are present. Okay, so I would like for everyone to partake in the roll call. So Ebony Jackson, I'm the chair of the Housing Authority Board.
Gabriel Montalvo, Commissioner of the Killeen Housing Authority, present.
Justin Hartsfield, Commissioner, present.
Whiteside, Commissioner, present.
Okay, so the first item on the agenda is
Staff. Staff.
Oh, I apologize. We have Miss Janice Taylor, who is our resident coordinator. And then we have Miss Cinda Hayward, who is our operational consultant. Okay, so we are gonna open up, and first of all, we need to approve the agenda. Okay, so the first item on the agenda, well, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Okay, so we have Commissioner Whiteside, who first he motioned to approve the agenda.
I second.
Okay, so we have Commissioner Justin Hartsfield, who seconded the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so motion approved. Okay, so we'll move to the first item on the agenda, which is our citizen comment, and we would like to, anyone who would like to speak, if you could please sign up on the sign-in sheet that is going around.
The sign-in sheet is actually on the, oh, it's going around. Go ahead and pass it around, man.
Do we speak now? If we already signed in?
I guess we can start speaking, that's fine, and you have 4 minutes. You're the first lady that's
Yes,
gonna be
ma'am.
speaking. Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Good afternoon, board. I'm Mayor Nash King, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the residents of Killeen. I serve on the Central Texas Council of Government Board as a board member, and I also represent Bell County at the Central Texas Council of Government at the state level. So on behalf of the residents of Killeen, there's a lot of things that have been going on, and I have been made aware of it in my position as a Central Texas Councilman of Government Board member. My concern is that where we are now is in a dangerous area. That as we move forward into November and December, as you know, that is the coldest, probably January, February, the time of the year. The resources are not available to continue, in my opinion, as a unit, as the Killeen Housing Authority Board. I plead with you on behalf of the residents that will feel the wrath if something is done effective immediately to resolve this problem. They are in great danger, even though the law says they cannot be put out. But the worry and the fear and what's going to happen, we don't know what will happen at this point. So I'm pleading for those residents that you join forces and Killeen Housing Authority, get out of the housing business and turn it over to Central Texas Council of Government. And that means the vouchers and also hire the state and any other resources, because I have been privileged as long with Ebony, Madam Chair Jackson, to be on conversations other than emails, phone calls, to know the state, the financial state, this Killeen Housing Authority is in at this time. And you can sell everything you have, and it still will not solve the problem. So I'm just pleading on behalf of the residents of Killeen that's in the program, that you strongly consider just walking away. And I thank you and I appreciate everything this board has done in a time of crisis. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, we are absolutely, we understand everything that you're saying. We do understand the financial situation. Earlier today during the workshop, Cinda did provide a spreadsheet to us to let us know our financial situation. Cinda, what was that total?
The total, after we got a most recent bill, was $253,000 in debt to providers, vendors, service providers. That does not include any landlords.
Thank you so much.
And I apologize for not being here earlier, but I was at an event. So I do apologize for that, but thank you for listening to my concerns.
We're gonna put our best foot forward. I can definitely guarantee that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, I will tell you that one of my suggestions strongly was to just move everything over to CTOT.
Yes, sir.
Because they have the expertise in the funds to fix forward. I know that we have to do something about the risk, but they have the expertise, they have the people, they have the resources to be able to make sure that these people don't have to worry about getting their rent paid, or don't have to worry about getting eviction notices on their door, whether legal or illegal. And hopefully today we can resolve that, make a resolution, move everything over there, and allow them to take care of that, and let powers that be take care of what happened.
Yes, sir, and that's just an opinion, because as you know, it's up to the board to make that decision.
Right.
And whatever decision that you do make, as long as it's in the best interest of the residents, I'm fine with it.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for
Thank you,
being
sir.
concerned about the residents too.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Okay, so our next person that will be speaking is Ms. Jasmine Mosley.
So just in reference of what we talked about earlier, Ms. Hayward, you were stating about the reporting papers. So my question is, because you said that when you fill out this paper, that it's basically saying that the new people will be taking over, but the landlord part is stating a move-out date. It doesn't, what they're signing is not saying that they're receiving, that they'll receive their payments. It's saying that basically they're releasing me from whatever lease, but I don't have a lease because they didn't renew it, and they're releasing whatever housing authority is in.
So does it not say on the bottom of that, Port to Sitcog, CTCOG?
No, it does not.
It does need to say that.
Yeah, so, yeah, this paper doesn't say that.
Okay. We'll get that handwritten before you.
And then my next question is, when you said they cannot, you say they can't legally kick us out, but if you're not on a lease, it doesn't say anything about a month-to-month lease saying that they can't cancel that at any time. So it doesn't say none of that.
Without looking at your lease specifically to see if it's an automatic 1-year renewal or if it renews month to month, I couldn't answer anything to that.
But earlier you said it didn't matter, that they couldn't as long as they had the contract with housing. That's what you said earlier.
So what if they have signed the addendum, as long as you pay a portion, your portion, if your portion is 0, they still cannot evict you
But
for
that's
not
for
paying.
a regular 12-month lease. It doesn't say anything about the month-to-month lease.
No, it probably does not.
Okay, so me, because they didn't renew the lease, because of housing in cooperation with them, where would that lead? Because I'm month-to-month, and they didn't pay me.
So do you have a lease that says you are month to month?
No, they didn't renew the lease. I'm on the other end.
She was given 30 days notice to communicate. She's not on an active lease, and it is a month-to-month lease.
It is a month-to-month lease,
After the 1 year, yes ma'am.
and the lease states that?
Yes ma'am. It's a TA lease.
Okay. If it was a month-to-month lease and then it was not renewed, then you would have to follow what the TAA lease says. I mean, the addendum is for the year term, and it should roll over on that month-to-month, but if she has given you the 30-day notice, then I don't see that there's anything that we can do. I mean, I'm not legal.
So now, you saying you can't do nothing, but earlier, when we had this conversation, it was something totally different.
Ma'am, it's what the information I was given was from HUD specifically.
So they gave you
Because, no ma'am, I did not get any information.
So when I asked
The
earlier,
lease
you
is
said
for
you
1
for
year.
I told you it was month to month. I stated on the record earlier, I stated before.
Can I intervene?
Yeah.
Is there any way that you can make an appointment with Cinda and then we could handle anything private?
What can she do? She just told me. She can't do nothing.
Point of information. So I was present during that conversation, and one of the questions that I asked was your lease month to month now? And in turn, you saying that they didn't renew it, I took the assumption that it was month to month. And I said today, we would speak on creating some kind of resolution in which your property managers could get paid. I think we're gonna reach a point where that's certainly the case, and the intent is not to do absolutely nothing, just so you're aware of that. It takes a vote amongst us, but that certainly will happen at some point during this meeting.
Okay. So, but if it's not taken care of by the 30th, then what?
Again, we will certainly do everything we can to make sure that it's taken care of before the 30th.
Try to make sure, because that's not guaranteed. So when I'm
No,
asking,
what I'm telling you is there's a formality to this meeting that let that formality happen, and if your situation is handled in that formality, then it's solved. If it's not, then we'll discuss an alternative.
Since the landlords are here, and you all have given her a 30-day notice, okay? If you all were paid your rent, would that rectify the situation and get her a new lease?
Okay, let me explain to you. She's been a good tenant. She is a good tenant. She's run it from us for a long time.
since I've been,
Right. That is not, we work for the owners of the property. That's how we get paid.
Okay.
So it's not my decision. It's the owner of the property's decision. We are just a management company for owners, and when they go and not receive their money, not every owner is a rich person. Some of them are a military soldier who have, bought a duplex. They're paying rent for a mortgage for their family in another state, and they have property here that they're not getting paid on, and it causes hardship for them and their family.
I
Coming into
understand.
the holiday season, they don't know if they're gonna get paid, not get paid, might get paid. Someone said, oh, well, they should be prepared for that. Well, there's not a whole lot of families who have 4, 5, 6, 8 months worth of rent sitting back when they're not getting paid.
Exactly, ma'am. That was the point I was making earlier. So we do understand that. So what you're saying is that the owner has already said, I want to get out of the Section 8 business. I don't want that tenant in my house.
Right, because we can't guarantee payment. We can't guarantee payment. Because we're being told, well, it could be 6 months, it could be this, it could be that. That's not an answer.
So we're going to move to the next person. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
ma'am.
let us please follow up with you, Ms. Mosley, if you could contact Ms. Cinda Hayward so that we can continue this discussion. Thank you. And we are moving on to Ms. Amy Milsa.
That was me.
Oh, that's you. Okay, thank you, Ms. Milsa. Did you have anything else to add?
Well, no, I just want to make it clear that for months and months and months and months and months, I've been emailing the people that work here, we get no response, no phone call response, no nothing response. We've emailed since the new person is in, have gotten no response. So you just have people hanging out there not knowing what to tell anybody. We're not getting a don't fly a kite, kiss off, nothing, just
My goodness.
nothing. Oh, read the paper. Read the paper. That's the response I got, read the paper. So, you know?
I do apologize for the inconvenience, and we will strive to do better as far as our communication.
Yeah, there's been no one from here to reach out to any landlord that I'm aware of.
Okay. Is there any way that you can get with
We've
Ms.
emailed it.
Hayward? You have the press release that has the telephone, the number, and the
We've
new
emailed, it's the email to this ad, yeah, we've done
H.A. Killeen?
it.
Okay.
Sure have.
Okay. So again, we apologize for the inconvenience. What is the name of your land,
It's Morris, Morris, real estate.
real estate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We will follow up. Thank you so much for your input. And we would like to move forward with Damon Hallman.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, Damon Holman. I have the tenant, and some of the questions that I had have already been addressed, but a couple of them are, like her case manager, she doesn't know who it is, they haven't reached out for her. Oh, hey, Ms. Jackson. Yeah, there's my tenant right there.
Okay.
Basically, it's just her lease is about to end. She needs to get recertified. We need an inspection. You know, I haven't been paid, but I want to keep her there. Everybody's giving us the answers. You know, I've talked to Ms. Taylor and Ms. Cinda, email, and I talked to Mr. Mosley in San Antonio, and everybody's just kind of pushing the cane. I mean, she's a good tenant. I don't want to put her out, you know, but at some point somebody got to give me an answer because I'm like this lady here. It's been weeks. Nobody calls me. Nobody responds. They say, "Oh, you come to the meeting, read the newspaper." I mean, that's you know, tell me just go sit down so I can accept that. You know, as opposed to just I'm having to search for the information myself. And I'm glad y'all are here trying to you know put a stop to this. But at some point, you know. Enough is enough. You know, funds are coming in, they're going somewhere. And like the lady said, everybody's got to eat. I'm able to let her stay until I get paid. But you know, other people are not. But at some point, I want to just document everything. You know, the book's square. I have a lease, she has a lease, we have a contract, and everybody's in the same shit. If she's not satisfied with my house, who does she talk to? Because she's even told me, I don't know my case manager is. Nobody called me back. They canceled inspections, things of that nature. And I'm basically here on her behalf.
Okay. And thank you for being kind and allowing your tenant to stay in the unit. I have a question for you. Are you aware of the portability application?
I signed and filled that out 7 years ago. I've been here since 2017 and nothing.
Well, I'm speaking of the portability application where your case will be rolled over to the SITCOG. They will absorb your voucher.
That's what I'm saying. I've done all portability. And who do I speak with?
Okay, and that would be Ms. Carmen Lynn. She's standing right behind you. We do have the portability applications. And Ms. Cinda, I'll let you explain the process that you and Ms. Carmen has as far as the portability process.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Chairman, so what we're doing is we have a packet that the tenant needs to fill out. There's a couple of sheets in there, information. And one of those pieces is that your landlord will agree to transfer your payments and your lease over to the Council of Governments office. You'll sign another release form that releases your voucher from Killeen and allows it to go over to the Central Texas Council of Governments Housing Assistance Program.
I have a situation with me. I ported in from Alabama, and I was told I was absorbed 7 years ago. Now I'm told that I haven't been absorbed, and my payments are coming from Alabama to Killeen. Then you're paying Mr. Holden, and checks are bouncing. I don't know what's going on at this point. Like,
So
where am I?
So can I have, was it the state of Alabama? Was it the city? Was it?
Mobile, Alabama.
Mobile. No, there's money that's coming in from
Can I-
Mobile. I saw it for October.
Can I one of information? So Miss Hayward, just a kind of a follow up to the conversation we had earlier. It looks like the homeowner here has a folder with documentation in it. I know documentation and getting everything on record was part of the hurdles that we needed to cross for them to get paid. If he has that, and again, he turns that in and we have a case file for his tenant, what's the issue with paying her from the current funds that we have? Paying him with the current funds that we have available?
If we have received payment from Mobile, Alabama for his tenant, I'm sorry ma'am, what is your name?
Tanya Dasher.
Tanya Dasher. If we have received payment from Mobile, Alabama, then we can, as a port-in, then we can pay that. If we have not, then I don't know what monies they have been using or prior staff has been using to make those payments.
So you signed, she's been there for 7 years.
And with her being in Killeen for 7 years, and Ms. Lynn, chime in if I get this wrong, but after so long of being from Mobile, Alabama to Killeen, Killeen is supposed to be billing Mobile, Alabama to collect her voucher money. And then it comes in and is deposited as a port-in. If Killeen fails to bill that, then Mobile, Alabama can assume that Killeen has absorbed that voucher. Which, by chance, Killeen may have absorbed that voucher. However, if that was never reported properly to HUD in that PHA web system and updated, HUD never knew that the housing authority here added a new tenant and that they would be sending more money to this housing authority for that tenant's rent.
So how do we find out if Mobile, Alabama has sent indeed her rent proceeds?
That's a telephone call to Mobile, and then I can also check and see the register what we received for the month of October.
Might I add that Ms. Mosley is a port from Wisconsin.
Yes,
So her money is coming from somewhere else as well.
yes. She told me that earlier this morning.
But we, that's what I'm not understanding. It's coming from another state here, but even that's not being paid.
It's, right, and again, it could be, because she's also been here for a length of time as well. So if she's been here for a length of time and this agency failed to bill Wisconsin where she came from, then Wisconsin, after a certain number of days, 90 days, no? Go ahead.
My name's Carmen Lamb. I'm the housing director at Central Texas Council of Governments. So the way billing works is an agency will port, I'm going to use us for example, they will port a voucher to our agency. From there, we give the family 120 days, and 90 days after the voucher expires at the original agency, KHA, we have to bill or absorb them. So we have to tell KHA within the 90 days of the expiration of the original voucher whether or not we're going to absorb. If we fail to send them a billing, we automatically absorb, and that's only done one time as soon as the voucher is transferred over to us. So if we fail to let KHA know that we're billing them and it's past the billing date, we are forced to absorb that voucher in that family, and that voucher becomes ours, and we pay that funding out of the money that's given to us by HUD.
Where does that leave us when something's failed, when the ball is dropped, it is not done properly? Where does that leave the tenant?
I can't speak to your case specifically because I don't know the details. I don't know if the billing was sent to the original agency within that time frame. And I can get with you after. We can kind of talk about how that process should work. And you probably need to talk to Ms. Cinda about it, but you definitely need to, we need to find out whether the agency is billing, if Killeen Housing Authority is billing your agency and they just haven't received the money for that and been able to distribute that money.
And we need to move to the next person. Thank you so much. I want to put out there that the news is definitely not where you get your updates with the Killeen Housing Authority. I don't know who's telling people that, but that is definitely not what we would like and how you would find out any information regarding the status of where we're at moving forward. I'm sure that Cinda is going to follow up with everyone, and I would recommend that if you do not have the telephone number before you leave, please get the telephone number, and so that we can rectify any issues or discuss moving forward with the
Is
cases.
this a working number that someone will answer the phone or return a phone call?
Yes, ma'am.
No, it's not, no. The number you're giving out, no one answered.
Madam Chair,
Voicemail box is full.
If I get a voicemail box.
may I make a suggestion? Okay. If we have the landlord here and the tenant, and just in case the paperwork was not done, can they stand by after the meeting, get the paperwork, fill it out, sign it, and that situation right there don't have to linger on to 3 or 4 meetings? Because the goal is to make sure that it's right. So if we can do that, if the landlord and the tenant is here, this would be a great time that after the meeting, give them the paperwork, let them fill it out, and we can get it turned in.
But this is not the right paperwork.
We'll get you the right paperwork, ma'am.
So I agree with Commissioner Whiteside. If you are here before the end of the meeting or after the end of the meeting, you can talk to Ms. Cinda, and we have Ms. Lim here, and we can see how far we can progress as far as your case. Okay. Thank you. I'm getting the sign-in sheet. So our next person will be Ms. Darnett Ebert. Ms. Darnett.
I'm Bernadette Ebert. I am with the Mama Legacy Incorporation. I am diversity. This is regarding to the Moss Rose Center. So the interests of the community. I would like to stand up, for Moss Rose Center and being available for this community and for the diversity use. It has been useful for me as a diverse group to rehearse for upcoming events, festivals, etc. for the community. Moss Grove Center has been available with arrangements made ahead of time as needed. It has been a place of warmth and shelter for those in need. Health and wholesome meals have been provided weekly. Help in assistance to application process for our community use. I would look forward to partnering with the Moss Grove Center and being a big event and being a big benefit for our community.
Thank you for that, Ms. Darnett. We appreciate that. Ms. Janice, did you hear what she said?
I did.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so our next person on the list is Melissa Brown.
I want to start off by saying I appreciate the board, Ms. Hayward, and Ms. Taylor. They've all put a lot of time and energy into getting this fixed, along with all of the other volunteers who come out and assist over at the Moss Grove Center, which really is an integral part of the community, not just for the homeless, not just for members or residents or tenants of KHA, but for the community as a whole. There are a lot of programs that go on there, a lot of organizations that are able to utilize it to bring wholesome events, to bring educational events, and to also bring a positive image to the Killeen Housing Authority, because in my opinion at this moment, Moss Grove Center is about the one positive image that KHA has. And that's not a knock on any of the current board members, it's just the way it is publicly, because that is the one place that has steadfast been there every single time the community has been in need. I want to expand a little bit on some of the stuff I've been hearing, because we all want to speak for the citizens. I don't think anybody wants to speak against the residents, but as leaders, and this is where I plead with the board, is that we start being positive. I have every faith in this board to be able to move forward in whichever direction they decide, and be able to do it in the best interest of the citizens, the residents, and to pull this off, making sure everyone is taken care of, but continually coming up and saying, the winter is coming, the holidays are coming, we don't want people to be out of their houses or evicted, and then say, but they can't legally do it. We're giving mixed messages. As soon as you say, we don't want people to be evicted, and you turn around and say, but, they can't. Nobody knows what to understand. We have residents who are here who are confused because they are getting those two different messages. We have landlords who I feel are frustrated because they're not getting answers, and it's very mixed. Because you're hearing community leaders come up and say, we're gonna try to fix this, but we're gonna fix it by keeping everything out and then having everything disappear because we don't want you to be homeless, but, you know, we're gonna do something. Keeping it out of there that they're gonna be kicked out, and know that they're not going to be evicted as long as they're doing their part. It has no part coming up in the discussion. Where it belongs is in those one-on-one discussions. Yes, we understand that this is happening to you. Let's look at your individual case. But for the community as a whole, what is being said is this is a competent board. These are new board members. This is new leadership. We have a new consultant who's here for working towards long-term solutions that are not just get rid of everything and push everyone away. That doesn't solve the problem in the long term for the city of Killeen. It also doesn't solve the problem to just get rid of all the assets. However, we wanted to liquidate assets. Let's talk about selling off the Moss Rose apartments first, which are currently valued at somewhere between $6 to $7 million, which would more than take care of what the numbers I've heard today and give the KHA working capital to move forward. I think KHA has served a very solid purpose in our community since it has been created. I think to just dissolve it and get rid of it is an injustice to every citizen of Killeen who is in that need, who is in that place. Do we need help right now? Absolutely. Are we going to help everybody by just throwing problems off to someone else and dissolving? No. And those community leaders should be coming up and supporting you, make sure that you have the tools you need to, yes, make sure the immediate and emergency situations are taken care of, but also think about the long term and who needs help in the long term going forward. I also want to say, as far as the staff that's needed for continued daily operations, yes, we all know that we need an executive director or at least an interim. We know that a caseworker is going to be needed regardless. But also, I'm not sure if anyone's aware, the resident services coordinator is a required position for anyone in rent. I know. I'm just very quickly. I need to support Miss Janice Taylor in her position real quick, and let you know that that is a position that if you're in RAD or if you're doing the ventures with Hyde Estates and with Highview, that is something HUD has just recently come out with grant money to support because they say it is a requirement. And the stuff that she does for the community is more than just what they do for the housing
We've reached our
authority.
time, Miss Melissa. Thank you so much for your input. I really appreciate you. We want to move on with Miss Ana Luisa Carrillo.
Good afternoon. I am Ana Luisa Carrillo Tapia. I am the district director for LULAC Central Texas, surrounding the 22 counties. Our mission statement is to why is LULAC here? It's because our mission statement is to advance economic condition, educational attainment, political influence, housing, health, and civil rights of the Latino population of the United States. With that said, there's a building on 1101 East Avenue E that's called the Moss Rose Community Center. It's not just a building, it's a community. Meaning, forgive me, 1103 East Avenue E. It is a community building because why? Because that's where our neighbors that are unhoused, other people call them homeless. When we have bad weather, inclement weather, freezing or too hot, we're there, and as organizations we gather to take care of those that need us at that time. You also have the Head Start program down the street. That building also belongs to you. However, you selling that building or selling the Moss Rose building, it's not going to give you anything to work on or with. It's going to destroy what little bit of community we have down in that area. There's no other area for our homeless to go and get help other than the Friends in Crisis. And that one is always being challenged, whether it's going to be there tomorrow or not. So let us be that generation that says this community center stays here to serve and to care for those that need that at that moment. We need Ms. Janice to be there to coordinate between Hyde Estates, Wolf, the different generations. At Hyde Estates, you have children, you have families. Over on Wolf, you have the third generation. Who takes care of them? Who coordinates programs for them? So we need to make sure that we have Moss Rose available and strong. And I would admonish you not to get rid of the housing authority, because why? Because you need to take care of that part of housing and building and assets and programs that were there designed. It is not your fault that this happened and the money's missing. It's not your fault. So however, we need to pick up where we're at, pull together, and keep moving forward. Passing the responsibility to somebody else isn't the solution to this. Thank you.
I would like to add on to that, because I really want people to understand what has to happen is not our choice. Whatever choice that, we have to abide by what HUD says. So if we, either it's going to happen or they're going to force it to happen. And that's the message that I've been getting. And so I don't want to be the one to wreck everyone's wishes and dreams. But I want to be honest with you. If we say we want to keep Killeen Housing Authority, HUD is going to take it anyway. And that's a fact. And I need everyone to understand that this is HUD. And HUD is over us as far as the Killeen Housing Authority. It's a tough pill to swallow. It really is, but it is the truth. And I don't want anybody to, not know what's really happening. If we don't do it, they're going to take it anyway.
Madam Chair, yes, you interrupted me.
I'm sorry.
Forgive me. We have families that are reaching out to us because obviously they don't speak the language.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
am I to take back to them? What they've been told is you're paying your portion, you have a contract, let housing take care of that. As long as you fulfill your contract, it's income based. So if your rent is $600 and you're supposed to pay $200, then you continue to pay that $200 until housing takes care of their commitments. Am I correct in that?
Miss Carmen Lim, can we borrow you really quickly so you can kind of give an idea? This has been conversation for a long time, and not to, cut. And I'm going to get to you, Miss Tanya Datcher. Oh, can you give some insight on when this starts to take place, how people are going to be able to roll over
To
into the
SITCOG?
SITCOG? Yes.
So the way the process works, I have to get with Cinda and we have to come up with a plan. But I foresee it having all the housing choice voucher families in one room so that we can do the intake process, so we can get that process started. That would, first, we would need documents from Killeen Housing Authority to start that process. I have 3 inspectors on hand, and we could probably go through those inspections probably within a week or 2 to start contracts. Families are already in their units, we can pay moving forward. Unfortunately, we can't pay retro. But we can get those families from start to finish, I would say 3 to 4 weeks with contracts for SITCOG.
Thank you.
Miss, can you elaborate on, because, we've been told, we've been asked to keep the board, and I know we discussed this at length earlier, and my thought pattern on it is we don't have the funds or the resources to actually hire a staff, so how can we even function? The board is not allowed to be a part of day-to-day of what's named, but whereas you all have the staff in place, you all already are working with this, why have the amateurs do it when we can have the pros do it? Can you elaborate on what would be the benefit if we just moved our program to you all?
The benefit would be that we could start payments immediately as soon as contracts were signed. Obviously, we pay on the 1st of every month. Mid-month we pay. Everything is done direct deposit. We don't cut checks. So there is no bounce checks, right? So we require all our landlords to sign up for direct deposit. It makes it easier for everybody. You get your payments within 24 to 48 hours of the day we submit payments to you all. You're able to check your payments online. In my opinion, it would just, the smart thing to do moving forward is to move forward with having.
I have a question.
I think so too, because the issue here is to fix the situation and to make sure that these people's livelihood is not interrupted because of something of no fault of their own. So thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Well,
Commissioner
My
Hart.
question is, do you all currently have anything that resembles the Moss Road Center? Would that be a possibility of continuing to operate under your guidance, or would that be something that's not capable of you doing?
I'm not familiar with the Moss Rose project, so I can't technically speak of that, but would it be, correct me if I'm wrong, is it tax credit? Is that what we're?
The Moss Rose Center is part funding from HUD and Killeen Housing Authority and the City of Killeen's Community Development Block Grant Program. So it belongs to the Housing Authority as a community center, so they would have to, I guess, legally sell it, or I'm not sure. There'd have to be.
I would have to research that, and I can definitely get an answer for you. My executive director, Mr. Jim Reed, is also here. He may be able to elaborate a little bit better on that.
Commissioner Whiteside.
Yes.
not for you. My question to the board is, excuse me, I'm going to ask Madam Mayor if I can use her expertise real quick. My question to the board and to the mayor, we know that we use this facility for a lot of things within the city. Is there any way that once we transfer everything else over there, that we could come in front of the city council and see if the city can take this and put it at Parks and Rec or something like that, and that center still stays available to the public?
That's a good question, but I just want to do a clarification. I don't want to put the fear in anyone. Miss Ebony Jackson was on the phone with me when HUD stated what would happen. We don't have a choice. I was saying it in a nice way, but it still has to go before this board, and this board has to approve giving it to Central Texas Council of Government. So it has to happen that way. I'm not in the business of making people afraid. I am in the business of people. The residents are my top priority. And to answer your question, when HUD...
Excuse me. With all due respect, please give who's ever on the floor the credit of being on the floor and the ability to talk. I understand we might have a comment, but please give her the ability to talk. And this is the mayor of the city. Please at least give her the ability to talk.
Thank you, sir, for that. So once HUD take over, they taking over everything. Now, can we talk to HUD, the Central Texas Council of Government Board, and say, hey, Moss Rose has played a big part into this? And what can we utilize? Well, that will come from Mr. Jim Reed. He will be the person, if this board vote on it, he will be the person that you will discuss this with. But they have to do an evaluation. This happened bad. And like President Jackson stated, we have been talking to HUD, and Mr. Reed probably came on board probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. I didn't ask for this information. HUD contacted me and wanted me to be aware. And that's when I found out this has been going on for at least 4 or 5 years. It just came to the light about the financial situation. And HUD felt that they needed me to know, as a new incoming mayor, that this is your situation. You need to have a board that you bring on that can work, that have some kind of working knowledge of, like real estate. Mr. Kager was on the phone with me along with the assistant city manager in reference to how we should move forward.
Mayor.
And then, last time we spoke to them, I'm asking a question, please. The
Our
last time
lawyer is calling in, Mayor.
so
Madam
one quick
Nash.
question. And the last time that I spoke to HUD with Ms. Jackson, they told us we didn't have a choice. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
Madam Mayor. We will need to go into closed session. Closed session is the public is hereby informed that notices for the Housing Authority of the City of Killeen meeting will no longer distinguish between matters to be discussed in open or closed session of the meeting. The practice is in accordance with rulings by the Texas Attorney that under the Texas Open Meeting Act, the Housing Authority Commissioners may convene a closed session to discuss any matter listed on the agenda without prior or further notice, if the matter is one that the Open Meetings Act allows to be discussed in a closed session.
Madam Chair, I want to make a motion to see if we can move that closed session.
We cannot, the
We
lawyer
can
is
move- Oh,
only
the lawyer.
available when he calls.
Okay.
So we will have to go into closed session.
Is there a number that you all were gonna provide earlier?
I can give it to you, it's on the outside.
It's on the outside of the door and the shadow box. You guys ready to? Thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate all of your input. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Jim Reed, I hope you're still here when we come out, because we definitely want to hear from you. Okay.
Take the opportunity to come and say that we support you 100%. We know it's a challenging situation that you are in. Our involvement stemmed from a conversation that I had with the mayor, who is on our board of directors. And I just want to say up front, we're not interested in closing anything or disposing of anything. We're interested in helping make sure that citizens that counted on KHA for their housing get housing, and that landlords who put their faith in KHA to house tenants get their payments. We have been in conversation with HUD. We're more than willing to help. I don't presuppose what that help looks like, but we are here as a resource for the board. And if you have any questions of me, I hope that Carmen has been helpful to you so far, and our staff is at your disposal. Our board met earlier today and have pledged that whatever assistance HUD would like you all to have from us, you shall have. So I'll be here for the duration. If you have questions about how things might work or what the outcome of certain decisions might be on our end, bless you, do not hesitate to ask me. But I can tell you that we've been running Section 8 for 50 years. I think the earlier commissioner asked a question of Carmen, why we might be of value. We have several $1 million in reserve in the bank. We have a staff that is fully there and functional. We have an accounting system that is on board and balances to the penny. Our HUD audits are current. We understand how Section 8 works, and our focus is on tenants and landlords, and we'll deal with the rest of this stuff later. And so, whatever assurances I can give to tenants here and landlords here, I can't promise in each individual situation if we're involved that we're going to make you 100% whole, but I can tell you that I've been given the reassurance from HUD that we're to provide whatever assistance it takes to get you as close to whole as possible. And so I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Sir, with your, and I'm gonna ask this because I keep saying that we need to turn this over to the pros and not try to figure it out, but with your experience and your time with dealing with Section 8, you said over 50 years, what would be your recommendation as not as a repair of, what would be your suggestion to assist us in fixing this? Would it be for us to turn the program over to you all and since you all are staffed and funded and run it? Or would it be for us to try to hold on by a thread and see if we can fix it?
Here's the challenge, and I will answer your question as directly as I know how to answer it. I don't know whether you're going to have the opportunity to make the decision between those 2 points. If you had the opportunity to make that decision, I would tell you that when I asked Carmen Lim to hire a staff member who knows how to run Section 8, we don't count on that staff member being fully functional and knowledgeable on this system for 4 to 6 months. If you're in the staffing situation that the press has led me to believe that you are in, it would be very, very difficult to reconstitute and fly this airplane while you're building the airplane or rebuilding the engines. I don't want to say that that's dire straits. I'm just saying it would be a very heavy lift. We have offered the opportunity to port everybody over and leave KHA whole. HUD did not accept that as a possibility. So if, and I don't want to be presumptuous in any way, but if the board, if you as a board were to say, what would the mechanics be of transitioning over to the Council of Governments, we are certainly open to any and all, and I believe that we could certainly be operational for your tenants and landlords within 30 days, which to me, if that's what our focus is on, that's a better outcome than trying to rebuild the one. So I hope I answered your question.
Basically you did, because if we have, basically we have no choice. So if we have no choice, we're just prolonging the inevitable. We need to make some type of resolution today to move this over so that our 30-day process can start as soon as yesterday, because these people need their money ASAP.
And I've listened in the back, and we don't know a lot about you. I mean, I want to go see Moss Roads. I want to understand where your different facilities are. I see vehicles that say KHA. I know we're standing in a building. All of that would have to be evaluated in partnership with you. But my focus, and if I'm asked in the press or otherwise, it will remain the same. My focus is tenants and landlords. That has to be in our position, number one. And once we have that fixed, and once we've made HUD happy so that they don't turn off the funding regardless of who is in charge, then we can talk about long terms, and we can talk about dispositions and staffing and liabilities and all those other things that I'm sure you're gonna have to deal with over time. But again, you know, we want to be a resource for you. We have purposely stayed a step back to let you go through your process, but we're here as a resource. So you just tell us when on your agenda you want to talk about that, and I'll get down into the weeds as far as you want to get, and we'll talk about what's possible and what might and might not happen.
Can I chime in on this conversation? And this is basically a question to the chair and then Ms. Cinda. With the conversations that we've had at HUD, because of course we're only reporting our vouchers, right? So I understand we have 3 tenants in Moss Rose who need to be moved. Would they essentially become a part of that?
No, those tenants are part of Highview.
Okay, and so they're gonna move to Highview, right? So we port all of our vouchers. And as far as an authority, we still have Highview and Hyde that aren't going, they're staying.
Right.
Oversight-wise, what does HUD say about their future in oversight? Does HUD manage them directly?
HUD does not manage them directly. They would be managed by those limited partners that agree in that.
With no oversight from a housing authority or HUD, even though they operate off project-style vouchers that stay there. So they have no oversight after that? Complete private entity management?
It's not, the only thing that the authority would do would be the pass-through of the money from HUD to the authority for the project-based voucher.
So we would still need an authority for that, right? And if that authority still remains simply for that purpose, can we not manage Moss Rose?
HUD will give no money to manage Moss Rose.
Understood. So Moss Rose being a building, being an asset, them not giving any money to it. Literally, we have, it's what it seems to be, no less than 50 people who volunteer there on a regular. Is that something that has to be sold if we have an oversight where we still have to manage Highview and Hyde?
Okay, let me clarify one thing. Moss Rose to HUD are 70 housing units. 75 housing units, thank you, Janice. 75 housing units. What the community is in support of is that community center that is a completely separate.
That's the only thing that I'm asking about, is the community center.
Okay, so, I would assume if the authority still maintains it as, and can pay for the operations and any staff that needs to operate in it, but there would be no money from HUD for it.
Can I interject something? If you don't mind. KBI is interested in the building, as volunteers incorporated. You need to have a conversation with them. My understanding so far is they would take over whatever needs to be maintained in that building. Electricity, water, electricity. The center itself would stay, the programming would stay, but they would take care of the other stuff and have an office in the building.
And if I may respond to your question, and I only am this deep into this, okay, so please, I know the press is here, and I'm just gonna tell you, don't be surprised if I have it wrong, but this is what my understanding in my conversation with HUD is. HUD, number one, wants to take care of families and tenant and landlords. Number two, HUD is going to exercise any ownership that they have in any properties that KHA has. So HUD is going to want to be a party if they funded any portion of any of your assets. And so that conversation, which is what I'm calling the secondary conversation, no less important, just secondary to getting families settled, is HUD's gonna have a role to play in what the disposition of that building is. So you're probably going to have to come up with a plan that makes HUD happy to allow you to continue. Otherwise, they may exercise their ownership option, whatever portion they may have. And again, I'm speaking like I know what I'm talking about. They indicated to me that they felt like they had an ownership or interest in some of your properties. I don't know which ones in specific.
I certainly think the same, which is why I asked those questions. But the reason I asked those questions in this moment, where we're taking citizens' comments, because we have two major issues right now that seem like they tie together, but they actually don't. Those vouchers need to go there regardless. Moss Rose is a completely separate entity from those vouchers that has really nothing to do with them. So we're kind of putting those together, but we need to separate them and create two different courses of action for Moss Rose and the vouchers that need to go to City College.
And my understanding from HUD is that their interest is if any tenant is voucher-based, their proposal is that that would come to the college if the board made that decision.
Of course, okay.
I just, I wanted to say, I think I would fully, at the end of the day, if our intention is to take care of the residents and the tenants, I would be very much behind your agency, taking the lead on that. I just want to say thank you, because of all the housing authorities, y'all have been the one that have stepped up the most to address the situation. So I just want to express my enthusiasm to the board that this is definitely something that I think merits our serious consideration.
I don't want to prolong your meeting. You've got a lot to do. I'll be in the back. Just say Mr. Reed and I'll answer the
Thank you, Mr. Reed. We appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
We have one more public or citizen comment. That would be John McTavish. Okay.
I was here earlier trying to ask a question. I know you guys said that you wanted to talk about voting the same future vouchers and current vouchers to Cinda. And that they said that they'll pick up further vouchers and current. My question is, they said they're not going to pay past due. What is going to happen with that? If there's money that is owed to landlords and everything. And I represent what I didn't think they're going to get paid. Because if it comes on the end of the month, it's still like 60. Last month was 68 days. Now it's offices receiving that money. This is for communication. They used to send the emails from KHA, but you guys got sent change. And those stopped. Tenant inspection, landlord wasn't tracking it. Since the tenant change. They said they were not out, they canceled it, and then they just showed up. Like I said, just one of the everything. I know you guys are trying to undo the actual initiation, trying to get all the paperwork straight and stuff. All I'm hearing is you don't know, you guys have to stop, and that's it.
Mr. McTavish, may I ask, or what is the name of your realtor?
And last name's Torres. It's first name's hard to pronounce.
Okay, that's the name of your real estate business?
No, I'm just a private person.
Oh, private, okay, understood. Commissioner.
You said you're a private person that represents him as an attorney?
No,
Or a licensed realtor?
I'm just a friend that works with them. They can't make it, so I'm just sitting here on their behalf to ask the question.
Okay, I would ask this. Please have them come in, speak to Cinda and tell them what they owe so we can try to get them fixed. Under the Privacy Act, we can't really give you that information.
I understand.
Right.
I understand legal, everything, and, you know, you guys can't discuss certain things and this and that and the third. I know I've been in contact with her. I've actually sent her the email with the current lease that's about to expire because the tenant's also worried about renewal. And what is owed, and that so far everything has been paid up besides what is owed. And just trying to find out the timeline when what is owed will be rectified.
And I understand that. But legally, we have to give that information to the owner. We can't give that information to his friend.
Yeah, I understand.
Or
I can
we
have
can give it to his property manager, which is a licensed realtor, but we can't just give it to anybody.
I understand that. Trust me, I understand that. I'm just asking questions so I can relate to them, and if they need to, they can come up here.
Okay, please have them come up. I'm not trying to stop from answering that question. I'm just trying to keep from having a lawsuit from us giving you information and we're not supposed to.
I understand legal actions, trust me. I know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I know his office is open Monday through Thursday and closed on Fridays, but with what is going on, are you guys going to be open on Fridays too, to be able to communicate with you?
Yes.
Okay, so I will have.
Yes, I've been trying to communicate with as many people as possible, some of them even 8 or 9 o'clock at night, so yes. The information that was sent regarding the tenant and the landlord I've received.
Yes.
That is put to a list of who is due rents. So that's what we have to go through with and see where that money's coming from.
And don't get me wrong, we want to help them, but we just want to help them in the right way. We just can't.
Like I said, I understand. Trust me. I know how it works with the legal system. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna move to our next item. I wanna thank everyone that came out to, speak to the board, the citizen comments. Our telephone number is outside in the shadow box. Please make sure that you get that number, give Cinda a call, and if you need to make an appointment, please do so.
And be patient, she's a one-man show.
She is a
one-woman show, I'm sorry.
She is a one-woman show.